You think you are playing a fair game, but the people around you aren't even playing the same sport. Right now, someone is smiling at you while quietly dismantling your reputation. Or perhaps they are feeding your ego just to see how far you'll fall when they pull the rug. You feel that tightening in your chest, that instinct telling you that you are being handled. If you keep choosing the high road out of a desperate need to be the good person, you aren't being virtuous. You are being an accomplice to your own destruction. By the time you realize the blade is at your throat, you won't even remember who sharpened it for you. Do you actually know the person sitting across from you? Or are you just the only one in the room who doesn't realize the trap has already been set? The invisible architecture, the room is quiet, but the air is heavy. You are sitting in a meeting, or perhaps a dinner, or a simple conversation with a friend. You've just shared a vulnerability, a small mistake you made, or a goal you're chasing. You watched their eyes. There was a flicker, not of sympathy, but of calculation. You felt it, didn't you? That cold shiver of realizing you've just handed someone a weapon. This is the birth of the Machiavellian reality. Most people believe that power is something shouted from a podium or enforced with a fist. They are wrong. Real power is architectural. It is the silent shaping of the environment so that others have no choice but to act in your favor. When you encounter a dirty player, they aren't looking to argue with you. They are looking to build a cage around you while you're distracted by the decor. You've spent your life believing that if you are transparent, others will be too. You operate on a contract of decency that the other person never signed. While you are busy being authentic, they are busy being effective. They use your honesty as a roadmap to your insecurities. They use your silence as a canvas for their lies. You feel a growing dread because you realize that your goodness has become a liability. To survive, you don't need to start screaming. You need to understand the mechanics of the shadow. You need to learn how to move without making a sound. The collapse of the mirror, the descent begins when you stop looking at what people say and start looking at what they need. A dirty player survives on your reaction. They poke, they prod, they gaslight, and they wait. They are looking for that spark in your eye the moment you become defensive. The moment you start explaining yourself is the moment you lose. Think about the last time someone joked at your expense in front of a crowd. Your blood boiled. You wanted to snap back to prove them wrong, to defend your honor. But in that impulse to defend yourself, you handed them exactly what they wanted, proof that they can move you. You became a puppet and they found the strings. The psychological collapse happens when you realize your integrity has just been a shield made of glass. It's transparent and easily shattered. You've been taught that silence is weakness, but in the world of high-stakes manipulation, silence is the only thing they cannot interpret. When you stop reacting, the mirror they use to track your emotions breaks. They are left staring at their own reflection, and for a predator, there is nothing more terrifying than a prey that doesn't run. You start to see the desperation in their eyes. They double down. They get louder, they get sloppier, and in that frantic escalation, the dirty player finally exposes the one thing they've been hiding, their own fear of being irrelevant. The weight of strategic patience now, the tension shifts. It's no longer about them, it's about the crushing weight of your own restraint. It is physically painful to stay quiet when you know the truth. It feels like a betrayal of your soul to let a lie sit in the air. But this is where the Machiavellian heart is forged. You are learning the law of absence. In every interaction, there is a person who cares more. Usually that person is you. You care about being liked, about being right, about being understood. The dirty player knows this and uses it as leverage. But what happens when you stop caring? What happens when you become a black hole that absorbs their provocations without reflecting a single photon of emotion? The atmosphere changes. The people around you begin to feel the shift. The dirty player who used to dominate the room suddenly looks small, like an actor who missed his cue on an empty stage. By saying nothing, you have sucked the oxygen out of their fire. You aren't playing their game anymore. You've walked out of the stadium entirely, but you aren't gone. You are watching from the shadows, seeing the structural flaws in their character that were previously hidden by the noise of your own ego. You realize that outsmarting them isn't about a clever comeback or a grand reveal. It's about the terrifying realization that you have the power to let them destroy themselves while you simply watch. The irreversible realization, there is a point of no return in this psychological descent. It's the moment you realize that you can never go back to being the person who just trusts everyone. That innocence is gone, burned away by the cold logic of necessity. You see the world now for what it is, a complex web of incentives, fears, and masks. You look at your hands and realize they are capable of the same maneuvers you once despised. To outsmart a dirty player, you had to learn how they think. You had to look into the abyss of their tactics until the abyss started looking back through your own eyes. You haven't become evil, but you have become dangerous. You have realized that the only way to protect what is sacred, your peace, your family, your work, is to be the most formidable person in the room. Specifically, because no one knows what you're thinking. The good person you used to be was easy to predict. The person you are now is a mystery. You move with a calculated grace. You offer no explanations. You provide no ammunition. When someone tries to pull your strings, they find nothing but air. This is the ultimate Machiavellian victory. Not a crown, not a pile of gold, but the absolute sovereignty over your own inner state. You are no longer a victim of the environment. You are the one who dictates its temperature. The door is open now. You can see the maneuvers before they happen. You can hear the lie before it's spoken. You see the dirty players for what they truly are, scared children playing with fire because they don't know how to build anything of their own. You could ruin them, you could expose them, but you realize with a heavy and quiet certainty that you don't even have to. A snake that cannot find its prey eventually bites its own tail. All you have to do is stay out of reach. All you have to do is remain the one thing they can never control. A person who is perfectly, terrifyingly content in their own silence. The game is over, not because you won, but because you became the one thing the game wasn't designed to handle. The question is no longer how they will hurt you. The question is, now that you see the strings, what are you going to do with the person holding them?